time.
He said he always ready. Born
ready.
ready. What's cracking? We live.
Hey, let's get them viewers in here. Let's get them viewers.
Hit them thumbs up for us. Drop us a comment if you're in the live stream. Let us know. We got Dr. Peters.
Hey, yay.
Yeah, we got Dr. Peters. We'll get started here in a minute because I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves with introducing you and everything. We'll give people a little bit of time to get in here.
All right, how many people we got in the stream now?
Let me see. Let me go to what's up, Marcus? What's good, Andrew?
I can't see it. I can't see it. Let me go with my thing. Or maybe I can see some of the questions if they come in.
You can't see it on your laptop?
No, I'm gonna go with my phone.
Open the window all the way up. It's right there on the side.
Let me see. Hold on.
Should be right there on the side. What's good, everybody?
Oh yeah. Okay. I can check. Got you.
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay.
Drip Daddy, Marcus Jones, what's good? So he just got off of work, became essential this year.
Got it. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
what's
okay.
Good, Andrew? What's good, Andrew? He said, how do I get money? We getting ready to talk about it.
Hey, we're gonna talk about that, baby. We're gonna talk about getting some money.
What's good, Tony? What's good?
Tony,
everybody drop us a comment so we could shout y'all out while we let everybody get in here. Drop us a comment. We got Mr. Dr. Peters. Dr. Peters.
Hey.
But yeah, we're going to talk about making money part-time on the side, investing in real estate when you got a full-time job. A lot of people think that I personally, they think that I invest in real estate full-time. I don't.
Yeah.
Real estate for me is like, it's my second biggest
side hustle.
Right. But it's not my primary, it's not my main thing. So it's really a part-time thing for me. And
right.
Dr. Peters here, who we actually met in person on a couple of occasions, but are connected through Will Motivation, the channel, and the Real Estate 101 course. So welcome, Dr. Peters.
Hey, y'all go sign up for that course, man. Y'all go sign up for that course. There's a lot of good jewels in that course. Y'all go sign up for it.
If y'all want to check out the course, I'll definitely drop that right here. Let me see. It's willmotivation.com/invest. That's the course for anybody that's interested, that wants to learn. But we're gonna get right into it. Hey, thanks, Rob.
Definitely sign up for that course, man. It's self-paced, a lot of good jewels, and it's at a very good. It's actually worth a lot more than what he's charging for it. So I definitely vouch for that course.
I appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, you got a light in there? It's kind of getting dark on you.
Yeah. Hold on.
I don't want nobody to lose none of the knowledge you're getting ready to drop. What's up, everybody? We're getting ready to get started. So everybody hit the thumbs up for me. We got 47 people in here, and how many thumbs up do we have? We got one thumbs up. I gotta open.
We only got one thumbs up.
Man, y'all gotta hit the thumbs up for us so we can get started. If y'all ready to go, hit the thumbs up.
Yeah, hit the thumbs up for us, man. Hit the thumbs up.
Hit the thumbs up. We're gonna get started in talking about investing in real estate when you have a full-time job. And you guys hear from me all the time, so I like to have other people on here where you can get their experience as well, because they may have done things different from me, may have done some things the same as me, but at least you can learn about it. So yeah, what's good, Hamza? Young 2 times. What's up, Stephen?
Nate, dog. Luke.
He said he's the only one with the thumbs up. All right, so let me open this up so I can track what's going on. Let me hit the analytics on it. So we got 45 thumbs up. That's real good. That's real good. All right, y'all ready? You ready, Dr. Peters?
I'm ready, man. I'm always ready.
All right, so we're gonna get started with this live stream where we're talking about making money, investing in real estate, our experiences doing it part-time. A lot of people have full-time jobs and responsibilities, but they want to start looking at ways to invest in real estate. And maybe eventually you want to do it full-time, but you got to start somewhere. So a lot of us start part-time, including myself and including Dr.
Right.
Peters. So I wanted to introduce him first, and then we'll get into his story and go over like some of the investment projects that he's worked on, doing those things part-time. So Dr. Peters, why don't you introduce yourself, tell them where you're from, tell them a little bit about your background so they can get to know you.
All right, my name is Joseph, Dr. Peters, as a lot of people know me. Originally from Florida, 37 years old, served a little time in the military, and now I work full-time for the country, for the government. I'm a civil servant. Kind of dibbled and dabbled in real estate over my life. From the time I was 18 years old, I bought my first piece of property. Until I turned. Yeah.
First property when?
I was 18.
What was it? The place that you lived in, or rented out, or what?
It was a vacant. I bought a vacant lot. I had saved up some money, and I wanted to buy a car, but my dad talked me into buying this lot, which I sold a year later, and I made $80,000.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Tell that story again, bro. You was 18 years old.
I was 18 years old.
What was you doing at the time? What was you working at?
I worked at a where did I work at? I worked at the what was I working at when I was 18? I was working, it was before I went to service. I think I was working at the shipyard at the time. Yeah, I was working at Eastern in Panama City, Florida. I was working at a place called Eastern Shipbuilding.
Okay, so you had a little bit of money saved up?
I had saved up some money for a car to put towards a car. And my dad talked me into buying some real estate. And I sold it a year later, and I made $80,000 when I sold it. I was actually when I sold it, I was in the military when I sold it. I was
a year later.
Yeah. A year later, yeah.
How did your dad?
Actually, like 10 months. It was 10 months later.
How did your dad have the insight to tell you to buy that piece of land? Was he just talking? Because like my dad used to talk, and he used to say, "Buy land and save your money." Like he used to just say these kind of like catchphrases, but he never got too specific into anything with that. He just would say that, and it kind of stuck with me. And I always saved my money, and I always thought about buying real estate. But it wasn't until much later when I figured it out for myself, I started buying it. What made your dad tell you to get that piece of land?
Well, he was big into real estate itself, owning property and stuff, and he just knew that this was going to be something that could advance my life if I bought into it.
But he knew that particular property. Did he like explain to you need to buy this property because it's in a good place to get bought because they're doing all this other stuff, or what?
He didn't really go into detail. He just told me that, I think he just wanted to see if I was just going to take his lead and buy it, and I did. I'm glad I did,
So that's how you got started in real estate. Your dad said
that was my initial first taste. Yes.
So your dad said, buy this piece of land. You took the money. You sacrificed, right?
Yeah, because I didn't get the car. No. So I got the land.
I want everybody to take note of this. He made a sacrifice at an early age, and he delayed his gratification of buying that car, and he listened to somebody wiser than him. He took their advice and he invested it in a piece of real estate. And 10 months later, he sold it and made $80,000 when he was 19 years old.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I never had that kind of an easy flip before, but it'll make you think, like buying land and that kind of thing. So, all right, go ahead with your background and your story.
Yeah, so I got that windfall, and I was in the service. I was in Hawaii at the time. I remember like it was yesterday. So of course, coming into that kind of money that young, you don't have much financial sense. So just as quick as I got it, just as quick as it went away.
The 80 G's?
Yeah, it didn't last long.
When you bought a car or something?
I had a couple cars. But you're young. I mean, you're young. It's almost like, you if you was a professional athlete, you sign a big contract and you just get all this money, you just spend it. You just don't know any better.
Got it. Okay.
You know.
All right. So so you was in the military, you got some money, you didn't really invest that money, but when was your next experience getting into real estate? Was like, did you buy your own personal home to get into, or did you start investing in some other?
Yeah, actually, the next time was bought 2 homes in Hawaii and did pretty well on those. So that was like the next time.
Wait a minute. You said you bought 2 homes in Hawaii?
Because the market was moving so quick. I mean, the market over there was moving like very fast. So, I mean, you could buy a house and within a year's time, it was up 100K.
So you bought 2 of them?
Oh, 2, yeah.
And you flipped them? How long did you hold them?
The first one like a year, and the second one like almost 2 years.
And you made a nice little penny on them?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so then what happened? Tell me, keep it going.
And then from there, we took some of that money and then we put that into the market. I was a little bit older at that time.
Okay. Oh, so you put it into the market, start investing in some stocks and things like that?
With mutual funds.
Okay, mutual funds.
Right.
Okay. All right. Okay. But now, more recently, what have you been doing recently as far as your some of your investment projects?
Well, recently I've taken advantage of some places up there in Baltimore, Maryland. It's one of the more affordable places where you can go and find real estate to invest into.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually flipped 2 homes this year. Actually looking to do a 3rd this year if I have the time.
So you flipped 2 houses?
Yes.
All right. So let's get right into this. Before we get into the details of these 2 flips, everybody that's in here, please hit the thumbs up for us so that we can get the word out about this knowledge that we're dropping right now. So hit the thumbs up, real easy. Just click that little thumbs up. And then if anybody has any questions for Dr. Peters on his past experiences, then we'll address those questions if you guys want to drop us a comment. And if not, if there's no questions up until now, we're going to get into his more recent flips, because he said he just did 2 flips this year. That's more than I flipped this year. I just flipped 1 crib this year, and I got 2 in the works. But the point of this video is that we're both people that are very busy with full-time jobs, yet we're making a way to invest in real estate on the side, even though you got a full-time job. So if y'all got questions for Dr. Peters, go ahead and drop those questions. All right. Check out this comment right here. Can you see that? I just highlighted it on the screen. So John Doe said, I'm from Baltimore, about to invest there as well, looking for flips and rentals.
Hey man, it's definitely a lot of rentals out there. And let me tell you one thing about the rental market in Baltimore.
Okay.
If you want to rent and you want to focus on your Section 8 type renter. Now in Baltimore, it's a little different. I know some people think about Section 8, they look down and stuff. In Baltimore, you go to a place that has a Section 8 tenant, those people in those homes, they'll have granite countertop, central air. I mean, it's jam up because the Section 8 up there pays above market rent. So the Section 8 market in Baltimore is totally different than it is anywhere else.
So they got more high-end properties and stuff.
Yes, people will come to you. They'll come to your house and say, "Oh man, you don't have central air. You got window units. I don't want this." Or you don't have granite countertops. You don't have stainless steel appliances. They'll walk away.
Oh wow! For Section 8,
the Section 8 market in Baltimore is different than anywhere I've ever seen it.
Check out this question right here. Do you finance or cash out your real estate investments?
The last 2 were personal finance.
Personal finance, like you're basically cashing out.
Right, all money in.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's what I did with my C-Star project, my new build project. But normally I don't do that. Normally I'll get the bank to go 80% and I'll come up with the 20%.
But you have to be careful if you use the bank's money or somebody else's money, because you can end up, basically working for the bank.
Especially if it's private money.
Right. That money is not free. It comes at a cost, at a price.
Yeah. If you got a good banking relationship, like my experience with the banks, if I hold a property for 3 months or even if I hold it as a rental, you know, you calculate what their percentage is. The percentage could be like around 4.75 to 5 point something. For me, historically, it ends up being worth it to do it, you know, partner with the bank when I don't want to use my own cash. But
Right.
I've seen people do private money lending, and then they're working for them.
Yeah.
Private running money lenders, man, they want so much of the profit for your
Right.
flip that it's like you got a job.
You'll be better off using your credit card.
Check out this question right here.
Which one?
Fernando, did you have any construction experience in rehabbing properties, or did you outsource?
No, I never had any kind of construction experience. I mean, I just basically had good contractors, and you know, I got some referrals from the realtor. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. When you go and you vet these contractors, you really need to do your homework as far as vetting them. You know, you want to make sure you get references. You want to call every reference, and you even want to go and see the work that they completed. I would do that with especially if you're just getting into it and you're new.
Do you want to tell a story?
Definitely.
What makes you say that? Did you have some kind of experience?
Some experiences didn't go well, but I was able to catch it before it became big. Because I was just up there a lot. You know what I mean? I was just up there a lot, and I caught things, and I was able to stop it before it just blew out of proportion. But until you know, the more you flip, you'll start getting your portfolio of dependable contractors. You know, but starting out, you know, you're just going off word of mouth and things like that. So you definitely have to stay on top of it.
Check out this question right here from Drip Daddy.
From Trick Daddy.
Drip Daddy.
Let me see.
It's right there on the screen underneath us. You can see both of us, right?
Everyone. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you know.
So the question is, what made you decide to promote Will's course?
Hey, you know, I'm a student of the course. You know,
was that my idea? Was that your idea?
That was my idea. I mean, because there's a lot of great knowledge inside that course. But I'm gonna tell you like this, Drip Daddy. I mean, you could take all the courses you want, and you can watch all the HGTV you want. The best experience in flipping houses is to actually go do it. That's the best experience, is real-time experience. You know, I mean, I can sit here and give you all the scenarios in the world, but every flip is going to be different. There's going to be different problems that comes up with every different transaction you do.
But here's I'm gonna make a pitch for my course though. Here's the thing though. With my course, you see he's here right now talking to you guys. Me and him built a relationship where we've seen each other on a couple of occasions. One of the occasions was just randomly in the airport, going to the same place. And we built a relationship, and he was a part of my course. So one of the things is that he has access to me. If he had bought a book or went to a seminar somewhere, I don't know that he would have access to the author of the book or have access to somebody at a seminar. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know Gary Keller. This is a great book, and I read that book and learned a lot from it, but I don't have access to Gary Keller. And if I went to a seminar with Robert Kiyosaki or Gary Vee or anybody, I would not have access to them directly. But one thing with my course, man, right now it's to the point where people can email me and I can respond back. You know, we could build that relationship to the point where you could be on my channel sharing knowledge yourself, you know, and I'm learning from it as well. So that's my little plug for my online course. But check this out. We got Michael Gray here. He's a full-time postal worker, and he wants to flip $10,000 some kind of way. You got any advice for him?
10 grand. I mean, he wants to flip a house.
He wants to flip that 10 grand some kind of way.
I mean, if I had 10 grand right now that I was going to flip, I mean, me personally, I would invest it in the market, man. I mean, in the stock market. Right now, everything's on sale. This is Black Friday on the market. But doing that, you need to know that you won't be able to get that money. You won't see a return for probably the next 12 to 18 months before you get that money back.
If I had 10 grand to invest Man, my thing is when your money is sort of limited, where you couldn't take that whole amount of money and really do something like big with it. The biggest thing you could do with your money is take a part of it and invest it in learning something that will make you more money. You know what I'm saying? So like taking part of that 10 grand and finding something you're interested in learning more about that you know makes money, and invest a little bit in learning more, either by buying books about it, buying online courses about it, or going to some seminars, because sometimes seminars motivate people and they do take action on those kind of things. So I would take some of that money and learn something that can help you build on the side. You know, even learn something. It might be some skills you need to learn, or just some knowledge that you don't have right now in an area. But that would be a real good use of some of that money. I wouldn't say all of it. You know, I would say at most I say 1,000 of the 10,000 you might want to invest in yourself.
Well, it depends now. If that 10 grand is all you have, that's different. You know, I mean, you still need to have your reserves after you invest that 10 grand. Don't just invest your all. Don't do that.
Yeah. But like there's some places you can go, like in my market, not right this moment, but there when the market was down here in Columbus, Ohio, you could buy a property with 10 grand. You could definitely, that 10 grand will be part of your payment and part of your rehab money. And you could buy a property that costs 30 grand and hold it for a while and rent it out, or you could turn around and flip it and turn your 10 grand into 30 grand real quick. So
we have properties you can buy right now for 10,000, 20,000, but you're not flipping those. And you know, I wouldn't recommend renting them. So you know, you want to kind of get into the more nicer homes, you know, because you gotta look at the area. You know, when you go to, I look at things and ask myself, well, I want to live there. You know what I mean? So if I don't want to live there, I don't want to even get involved with it.
Chess Holmes is pirating.
Talking about that song?
That book you're talking about, he found it for free.
Oh yeah. You can get the audio version, man. I've listened to this book. I listened to this book probably 9 times on the audio. You can YouTube this.
Oh yeah, I listened to it a bunch of times too.
I probably listened to it 9 times. This is a great jewel, man. This is a great jewel there.
Hey, check this out. So let's talk about the couple of flips that you've done most recently.
Okay.
And then we'll get into some of these other questions. So tell us about the first couple of flips that you did. As much detail as you can give us. You don't have to give it all away. I know, you know, there's some sensitivity around some of the different parts of it, but I'll let you go ahead and just kind of speak to what those projects look like, how long they took you, and whatever you can tell us from a learning perspective.
I mean, typically the projects I've been involved in, they take anywhere from 3 to 4 months from start to finish. And typically what we do is go in and you do a total gut. I mean, you go in and you just basically, you know, we go through and we basically update the property. Let
me back you up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
How did you choose the neighborhood for your project?
I'll choose the neighborhood based off the comps, you know, because you want to know when you find a property, you want to know what you can sell it for. And that's how you know what to offer on the property. Mm-hmm. And when you look at when you try to find the comparables, you want to look for like the last 4 homes that sold within a 6-block radius of the property and divide that by 4. And normally that'll give you your ARV. And then when you get the ARV price, what I do is you want to offer 65%. You want to act 65% below the ARV is what you want to offer to buy the place minus your rehab costs. And then when you get that number, I mean, I would still go a little bit lower than that once you get that number to have room to play with.
Did you buy the properties from a homeowner? Did you buy them from like a bank or what?
No, they were home. There was people who just retired, you know, retiring and stuff, wanted to get out of it.
Okay, so you found some cribs.
Right.
You made your offer on them. You negotiated with them a little bit.
It wasn't really hard. They were just ready to just go, so it wasn't that hard.
So you say you pick your neighborhood based on the comps.
Right.
So basically, for people that don't know what the comps are, it's short for comparable or comparable properties. So what you might do is you might say, I want to flip a house. Did you know that you wanted to flip, or were you still on the fence about rentals or flipping it?
I knew I wanted to flip because what I do is when I get ready to flip a house, I have a goal in mind. It's like I don't just flip to flip. I mean, I don't do it that. So I'll get a flip to pay for something I want to do. So like I might want to take 5 vacations. I'll flip a house to pay for those 5 trips. You know, I might want to buy a car. I'll flip a house to, you know, I have a goal in mind what I'm gonna do the flip for.
So you gotta find a house that can have a after rehab value,
right?
That will give you room to make a certain amount of profit,
right?
So like for example, for those of you guys that are trying to picture this, so that means he's looking for a neighborhood where let's say for example purposes he wants to make 50 grand.
Right.
In different markets, it might be 150, it might be 100,000, whatever.
Right.
He's gonna have to look for a neighborhood where he can buy a house. Let's say if he wanted to make 50 grand, let's say buy the house for 150,000, and then turn around and sell it for 230,000 or 220,000 or something like that. So he's looking then for neighborhoods that can support $200,000 plus homes or $300,000 plus homes after rehab is done.
Right.
So like looking at the most recent properties that have sold in that 200 to 300 or 300 to $400,000 range, and then he's going to try to go in there and get a property for a deal by making an offer that's much less than the after rehab value of the property after he goes in and makes it look sweet. So that's what he was doing. He was looking for areas where he could find a house in the price range that will work his numbers out.
Right.
Okay.
And the thing about it, that's very important. Like the buy, it's all about the buy. If you buy in wrong, that can make the whole thing up.
They say you make your money on the deal when you buy.
You make your money on the buy. And before you go and buy, you kind of need to know, before you make the offer, you need to know what are the rehab costs going to cost. So a good way to do it is you find the square footage of the home and you times that by 30, and that typically will give you an estimate of what it should cost to rehab the house, depending on how luxurious you want to go in on the rehab. And what you want to do when you rehab the place, you know, don't go in there being cheap. Don't do that, because you're going to have a house. You're going to own a house.
Let me ask you that. Where did you get that concept from?
Actually, I got that from you.
Because that's my philosophy. I was going to say, because I got the same philosophy.
You have to go in. I'm telling you.
Because what you want to have happen, if you're trying to sell the house, you want somebody to fall in love with it.
Yes.
Because if they fall in love with it and it's more expensive than the other houses, but their payment, their 30-year mortgage payment goes up only by $30 to $40 a month, then they can justify it because your house is that much nicer than the next one.
Nicer. Spend the money. Because I'm going to tell you something. You going to spend the money on the front end, or are you going to spend the money holding the property? You know, because the thing is that property.
That's a good point. Say that again. That's a real good point. That's a real good point.
Yeah, because that property, you have money has an opportunity cost. So if your money is tied up in this house you can't sell, you're losing money every day. So you need to spend the money in the house versus holding the property for 3 or 4 months after the property is done.
There you go. Tell him, Dr. Peters.
I'm just saying, man. Hey.
No, I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? You know, so spend the money, you know, make it nice, and trust me to fly. Spend the money in the kitchen.
So tell us about your projects. Paint the picture for us. So you went and found a neighborhood that could support the price range you were looking for. You found some properties that were owned by some people that wanted to kind of get out of them. You made an offer. Tell us about the projects. Like how bad was the first house and what you have to do to it, and how bad was the second house and what did you have to do to that one?
I mean, the first house, it actually wasn't that bad. but it was like, it would have been perfect for a rental. I mean, if I
What was the stats?
would,
3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. What was it?
it was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. But
Row
if I were to
home,
rent,
row home or detached?
row home, yeah.
Okay,
So
all right.
if it would have been perfect for a rental. I mean, for a rental, you wouldn't have to do anything to it. It would have been turnkey. But to flip it and get the return that I wanted, you had to make the house, you had to make it pop. So I had to put the real motivation touch on it and make it pop, granite, redo the floors, upgrade the carpets, paint, new appliances, new cabinets. I mean, you gotta go through in there, just redo the whole home, and you get instant equity, and you sell it and keep it moving.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so the row home wasn't too bad, cleaned it up, but for the flip, did you do any? What was the most expensive thing you had to do on that one? In terms of lights.
The most expensive thing I had to do was take a chimney out. Luckily, the AC unit was still good, the unit, so they have to replace that. So the most expensive thing in there was removing the chimney. A lot of those older homes in the Baltimore area, they have these chimneys in them.
Yeah, with fire chimneys, but they all blocked up.
It was taking up like floor space and stuff, so that had to go. So
you completely removed it and just gained some floor space with that.
Gained some floor space, right? But that had to go.
Okay, that was the most expensive thing. Can I ask how much it was?
That was about it was about $8,000.
Did you have to do any plumbing fixes?
No plumbing.
Plumbing usually is the killer for me. Like plumbing is the scariest thing for me in a project, because usually, I mean, I've had to replace AC units and heaters and water tanks, but water tanks are relatively cheap. AC units, you can bargain around and find them and put them in for like $1,500 to $2,000. A heater, same thing. But man, you got plumbing where some pipes are messed up under the ground and $4,000, $5,000.
Well, that's why I'm glad you said that. So that's why when you have your renovation budget, in that particular place, it was like $35,000. So
what you
have a contingency budget.
You said the $35,000 was a rehab?
Right.
Okay.
So you want to have a contingency budget, because the thing is that something's always going to go wrong that you don't see, or that the contractor don't see, or he sees and just don't tell you. But you always have to have that contingency budget, because there's going to always be something that goes wrong. I know a lot of people watch HGTV and stuff, and you see all the fun stuff, but there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes on that is not fun.
Right. Okay, so tell us about the second project. The second one, is that the one that you were showing me that had the major addition and all that? Yeah. I found that very ambitious, and I found it very impressive.
Right.
That's a major one to do as a with a full-time job, and to do that level of a project. Tell them about that project, because for me, like a typical flip or a typical rehab for a rental is painting the house, new flooring everywhere, new appliances, maybe some granite in there, new fixtures, maybe the mechanicals, you might have to replace some mechanicals, and you cross your fingers that you don't have any plumbing, and maybe you build a deck or something like that. But what you did is now I have built bedrooms before where I add additional bedrooms to try to make some money, but you built a large addition. Right. So tell them about that project.
I mean, that project was basically like that project was like almost like a total rebuild. That was a six figure rehab. The rehab was 6 figures.
So tell me your thought process as you went and identified the property where you made the decision. Why did you make the decision to do that addition and everything to take it to that level?
Because of the comparable homes on the street, it demanded it. When you add the square footage, I saw that it would bring the return it would bring. So it was almost a no-brainer. You just had to do it.
So and what did you do exactly? What was the addition? Paint the picture for us, because it was pretty exciting to show me.
Basically, where the kitchen was at, we basically took the back wall. Well, basically, we took the back of the house off, and we bumped it out.
How many? It was big. Tell me how long you bumped it out.
We bumped it out I think it was about almost 100 feet. We bumped that thing out. You know. Yeah. Yeah.
They built a new house on the house.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
So it ended up being a real large open space for the kitchen.
Yes, because that's the thing. Being open, that's the new thing. Everybody wants openness now. Nobody likes clutter. Everybody likes open. Mm-hmm. Open sales.
And then on the upstairs, you had an upstairs to it too.
Yes, yeah.
What did that make the master bedroom bigger or something like that?
Master bedroom was bigger as well. Yes, because the master bedroom was above the kitchen.
So I thought about doing this to 2 of my properties because I was thinking about making them bigger so that I could move into one of them.
Right.
And get my taxes down and all that kind of stuff and save money. But I didn't end up doing it because of, how much it was looking like it was going to cost. But so you successfully got that done. I mean, how smooth was it working with the contractors and everything?
On that one, it wasn't as smooth as the first one. Not saying the first one was totally smooth, because on that one, I mean, it was a lot more work to be done. I mean, in that house, the floors were sloping. The units were shot, the windows were gone. I mean, that house was gone, man. So, you had to go through a lot more different contractors getting supplies. I mean, that's something else too, as far as like where you're getting your supplies from. The more you flip, the stronger your network will be with your vendors as well, because that's major. Having to wait on things, it's pushing timelines back. Mm-hmm. So that's something that I got to work on, getting a little bit stronger with my connections with my vendors and stuff. But contractors, man, I'm telling you, man.
I had my delays and all kind of crazy stuff.
And those delays cut into your profit big time.
All right, so you successfully flipped. So did you take a loss or did you make some money?
No, I still make money. But the thing is that, all those unexpected things, they cut into your overall profit.
So, having gone through the process a couple of times so far this year, talk a little bit about, you have a full-time job and you were doing this on the side. Talk a little bit about some of the challenges with that, and then but what the payoff is. Was it worth it? Talk a little bit about that.
I mean, it's all about the sacrifice. I mean, the thing is with flipping, if you do it enough, I mean, you could make more money flipping houses than you do on your job. Mm-hmm. It's going to take time. I mean, it takes a lot of your time, because you have to go up there and like babysit the project. Mm-hmm. You never want to be too absent from the project. I was up there probably every other day, or checking on it.
What was the hardest thing about it? Like, was it from a time perspective, it's basically just eating into your time as far as?
Yeah, it eats into your time, but it all depends on, what you have going on. See, I have a daughter, she's in Texas, I only get her so many times a year. So I had time to spend up there. Mm-hmm. But if you have a family, it could be challenging. It could be a strain on your family. Hopefully if you're married, your wife understands. I mean, you're doing it to benefit the family. Right. Because it definitely takes your time.
For me, like the experience I've had with building out a real estate portfolio and doing flips and stuff, but having a full-time gig. Of course, I'm sort of like the boss at my gig, so I can prioritize and make decisions. I don't have to totally be gone for 8 hours focusing on stuff. But for me, the thing with the rentals and the rehabs, the biggest challenge that I have is the interruptions and the stress of the people that you deal with transferring over to you, like to me, with the rental properties. But like managing my rehabs and managing my flips, for me, the biggest challenge has been working with the contractors.
Yep.
to stay on budget and to get stuff done on time. But for me, that doesn't stress me as much as some of the other stuff. So like doing rehabs, doing flips is much easier for me than to hold on to rental properties. And you got, like, I just had, like, the last couple of days, I had a super angry neighbor with some tenants that I had. She was irate, and I'm feeling, like, I'm not trying to sit in my palace you know, and enjoy everything, you know, the fruits of having this rental property where I got somebody suffering because of some tenants that came into one of my properties. So I don't feel good about that. So I have to resolve those kind of problems. But that stresses me out more than doing like, you know, writing checks to do flips and rehabs and deal with the contractors. Because, you know, I'm so used to dealing with people like contractors that, you know, for me, you do have to be careful because you don't want to lose money. And
Yeah.
that could be stressful if you're pressed for your money and everything, your time and everything.
Right.
But it's manageable. It's, I guess, what I want to say. It just, you have to know yourself and what kind of stress you're good at dealing with to know which one or other will be better.
If you're not good at, I don't want to discourage anybody, but you have to be good at managing things. I mean, you got to be good at project managing, and you need to be good at doing spreadsheets and have some kind of accounting savvy to keep things in line. Those are very important. You know, that you keep a running tab, the burn rates and things like that, so you can stay on budget.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into some of these questions. We have Dr. Peters here, who's in the Maryland, DC, Baltimore area, and he has executed successfully some flips recently. So we've been talking about those flips, but he also has a full-time gig, very important position, and so he's doing this in his off time, and he's successfully been able to, you know, handle these flips and make some serious profit off of those flips. So if you guys want to ask him some questions, you guys want to ask me some questions, or both of us, we're happy to answer some of those questions. And Dr. Peters, I appreciate you taking the time out to share.
All right. Somebody, do I live in Baltimore? No, I don't. I don't live in Baltimore. No, I don't. I live about an hour away. So, you know, I was driving an hour to go check on my flips.
Oh man, you were driving an hour?
Yeah, because where I live, you're not flipping property out here like that. It's a total different price point.
Check out this comment right here.
Which one?
It's right there on the screen with us, right there.
About the permits?
Yeah, Mike929 said, what about permits?
Your contractor will handle all your permits for you. And typically your contractor, they got a relationship with the permit people, because they're going to come by and inspect you. They're going to pop up and everything. And if you don't have those permits right, they'll shut your project down. So your contractor typically takes care of all that stuff for you, as well as your blueprints and stuff like that too.
And
the cost will vary depending on the project. You know,
but usually the contractor has that built into their price they give you, right?
Right.
Now I have paid for blueprints, I have paid architects, and I have paid permits. Permits are cheap. Usually permits would be like $100 and something usually.
Those blueprints are expensive.
Right. So like with my permits, the thing about permits, they're cheap individually, but you might have to get several permits. You might have to get electric. It depends on your local government and how they do things.
Right.
You may
that's how they get their money.
So right. So you may have to get several permits, but that's not too bad. Blueprints and the architect, usually what happens is you pay the architect for the blueprints because they'll design them up. They'll have to get them stamped and approved. Right. And that can be like, I paid my architect for the blueprints of my house and the changes and stuff, probably $4,000 or $5,000, something like that, which was a really good price.
Right.
I could have paid way more than that.
But those blueprints, they show everything. It shows where the wiring's going, where the lights are going, and it shows everything.
Mechanicals, all of that.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then once you have your blueprints and they're signed off on, you get copies of them, and that's
right.
$100.
Yeah.
All right. So let me see what the next question is.
Let's see.
Let's see what Rich is talking about. What's up, Rich?
Rich over here.
He said, enlist the spouse and family as well. Lessons learned for the kids is invaluable, and the spouse will be your biggest inspiration. So include your family in your projects.
I was gonna say too, you know, in the Baltimore area, what I have noticed is that a lot of people would team up and they would do flips as far as like brothers would get together or family members get together or groups of people get together. And I see it a lot. So it could be a family affair. I mean, if you were too scared or couldn't do it by yourself, well, you could, and you could get your family and turn something like that.
Okay, so but here's something. Here's something I want you from your experience, because I talk about my stuff all the time. Like I could do a side flip for me, and I can be happy with at least making 20 grand after all expenses net.
Right.
It might take the project 3 months to get done for a flip, like on average. Right. But I gotta make at least 20,000. But in my market, I might make up to 60 or 70, maybe 80,000 max so far.
Right.
But you're somebody that's done it, and you know people that have done it. So I'm not gonna say you specifically, but you know people have done it in your area. What kind of ranges have you seen people do this part-time, investing in real estate on one flip, and how much money have you seen people make out there?
In my area, I will tell you like this. There's a lot of six-figure ranges to be made in the area.
On one flip.
On one flip. And if you take it as far as go to the DC area, which I look into getting into next, you can make several $100,000 on the flip.
So when you look to go there, call your boy. I'm ready.
Yeah, I know a guy, he buys places for maybe 450,000. And, it takes him about 9 months to do the flip. But when he gets done with the flip, he might sell it for 1.3.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Right. 3 years to make this. Now, right. I might make, 75 to 100 plus on my new build, maybe.
Right.
We'll have to see,
Right.
So y'all.
And he'll do one of those a year.
Yeah, and he's sitting pretty.
Right. You sitting pretty. Yeah.
What my point was for people to understand is that people have full-time jobs.
Yes.
They can invest in one real estate property, and they can make on the low end like 20. Like I suggest if you're gonna do a flip, try to make at least 20 grand.
Right.
And your numbers that you work out, come away with at least 20, so that if something goes wrong, then you're not taking an L. You might make 15 instead of 20. You might even make 10 instead of 20, which might not be what you want, but you still 10,000 ahead. But the same person could go invest in a piece of real estate, get it fixed up, and make on the side, make 6 figures.
Right.
One property, one flip. So it's very possible and very realistic.
And it's all about what your time is worth. I mean, if it takes you 3 months or 4 months to flip the house and you make 20 grand, you basically made 5,000 a month, So what is your time worth? And that's a good way to.
But then again, that's 5,000 on top of everything else you're making.
That's true. That's true. But hey, I'm just saying.
Especially if all you're doing is writing the checks.
Hey, I'm just saying.
You get your team together.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm just saying, man.
No, I feel you though. You're right though. Right. Like you gotta. I mean, and even both of what we're saying is true, because even for me, like I look at stuff like, I'm not going in there and I'm not laying no flooring. I'm not going. No. I've done it before, but I'm not doing it no more.
Right.
I'm not going in there. I'm not painting no more. I've done it before, but I'm not doing it. I'm gonna write the check, and I'm gonna make sure everything is getting done on time. And if you're not getting stuff done on time, I might have to go. Yeah, you might have to get off the project or whatever. I might have to handle that. But at the end of me just doing like this with the checkbook,
right,
and doing a couple phone calls or text messages. And 3 months later, I'm gonna sit at the closing table and I can get my money. I'm good. But for like another individual, they might have so many other things going on, or the risk versus reward scenario where their bottom line number could be a lot higher than 20 grand. It might have to be 50 grand. It might have to be 100, whatever.
It all depends on you. It all depends on what your time is worth. Like some people feel like their time is worth more, so you go for the bigger projects. I like to go for the gusto projects. I like to just go all money in.
Well, how about
yeah, I like to go all money in. But the cosign on what he was saying as far as writing the checks, when you're flipping a house, don't ever give a contractor money up front. If the contractor cannot start the project and has enough capital to start the project, you don't want to deal with him. If you gave that contractor $10,000, you probably won't see him again. You know, so you want to pay for, you want to have draws set up. You know, contractor comes in, he does work, you inspect it, and then you cut him a check, and then he gets the next section, and he does work, and you write a check. You do it like that, but never, whatever you do, don't ever give a contractor any money up front. That might be the last time you see that person.
Especially if it's the first time you're working together with them. Like where I'm at, the contractors is typical to do a percentage up front, but not the whole thing. But you might have to come out of pocket. And I only will do that with people that I've worked with before.
And what they'll do, if they'll smell the green on you and they'll try you. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you can, I don't know. I mean, if you can, before you flip a project, it would be good to shadow somebody. I mean, if you know anybody who's doing it, because once you do one flip, you could do 10 flips. But the thing is, you have to just do one. You know, I mean, you could watch as many live streams you want. You go to as many seminars you want. Until you actually go and do it, that's the best experience. Is going to be the on the job training.
All right, check out this question right here. Any strategies on getting low price and good value contractors?
It just, I mean, the thing with the contractors, don't always equate a value with being. I learned sometimes you want to pay a premium for stuff, because when you pay a premium, you get less headache. Because a lot of times, you know, you want to go in there and just get cheap labor, and you end up paying for something to get done 3 or 4 times.
Now that has happened to me on my new build. That happened to me majorly on my new build.
Right, and you might as well just pay the premium up front, you know, and get it done once and keep it moving, you know.
Mm-hmm. So, not to answer that question on finding good value contractors, you know, and responsible contractors, word of mouth is like a big one, and reputation, how long they've been doing that kind of business in your community or in that location, because they might have just showed up. You know, you don't know what you're going to get,
right?
Or nobody has done anything with them before. So you don't know what you're going to get. So you don't. So try to like get some references, people that you know that can refer people, and then see how long they've been in the community and what their reputation is.
One thing I've done is in Baltimore, a lot of people flip up there, so it's not unusual for you to have a flip going on, and on the same street you got 2 or 3 other flips going on. So just walk over there.
Yeah.
And this information, you can look at the work.
Yeah.
You know, you start building up your portfolio of contractors that way.
Yeah, that's an excellent one. I've done that, and I plan to do it. Like when I'm building my new home for that's getting ready to start, I'm gonna go get all of the contractors that work on that crib, because they've already been vetted by the biggest builder in my whole entire, you know, zip code or city.
Right.
So I'm gonna go in there and get all of the plumbers, all of the framers, all of the drywall people, all their crews and stuff. I'm gonna get their number, so then when I want to go build out my basement, I'm gonna be like, hey, want to come make some quick money framing up my basement? And they'll do like 2 days. How about that?
I got some stuff get ready to get done in my new house. You know, for some contractors I've met. So, yeah.
All right, next question from Chess Holmes, Dr. Peters, and Will Motivation. You don't need architects and blueprints for flips, right? You might, yeah.
It depends on how big what I do. I need it. Now, if you're just going in the house doing a lipstick job, you're not taking out any walls or anything like that. You just go in the house and just keep it the way it is. But when you go in the house and do what I do,
structural,
you go there tearing out walls and rearranging stuff, you gotta get blueprints and stuff. You have to, because I'm changing the whole appearance of the home.
Now, as far as permits, well, he said you don't need architects and blueprints, not really permits. You're supposed to get permits for a lot of.
You gotta get permits, man. You can't. No, you gotta get permits, man. They don't come down.
And I've done it without permits, and I got busted.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You don't. And the thing is that you don't want to. One thing about the inspectors, man, you got to play ball. You know, because the thing is that if you piss them off, they're gonna find your jobs and they're gonna pick on you and just write you up for stuff that they could probably let go. So some things you just gotta just bite the bullet on. I mean, you talking about pennies on the dollar, man. You're gonna make 6 figures on the flip, but we crying about pennies.
Right. So you gotta look at the big picture.
You gotta look at the big picture, yeah.
So they were asking where you're from. You're from Florida.
Florida, yeah.
Up in the Baltimore area.
Yeah.
Mick Aruni Gonzalez said, do you know of any way to get 100% financing on an apartment building? I don't know of a way to get 100% other than to go, to have some kind of relationship with somebody that could be a private money lender that might do something like that. But I don't.
That money gonna come with a premium.
It's gonna come back. That's like getting a job, basically.
Yeah.
You're asking for a
job. They have, you could actually flip a home with no money out of pocket, with hard money. And let's say you had bad credit and stuff, you couldn't go borrow any money. You can get a hard money lender to approve the deal and not based off your personal finance and fund the deal for you. But that money comes at a premium, man, where it's like once you get through doing the deal, you didn't really make it.
You.
Right. You've been better off working at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then you got all the risk too, because if you mess up,
you take all the risk.
Yeah. And they're gonna make all the money, cut you out.
Right. Because those carrying costs, I'm telling you, man, they're gonna dig into you every month. You gotta make those interest payments, man, and it's digging into your profit.
Have you ever done any projects with a partner? So this is a question from Chess Holmes. How do you suggest flipping with a partner? What do you recommend on the splits?
I would say it all depends on what is everybody going to put in, and that's how you would decide on the splits.
Yeah, that's a hard one for me because I learned early on with partnerships, you might go in saying, we're going to split the work 50-50. We're going to split the investment 50-50, right? It's easy when it's just dollars, right? Right. What happens when those dollars and expenses start to creep up?
Right. People get nervous.
Right. And if people keep paying 50% on everything. But the harder part is 50% of the work. Like how do you manage that? And my problem is I work hard and I do whatever it takes to get stuff done.
Right.
If you have a partner that doesn't think the same way you do or act the same way that you do with that, you could end up doing way more work than a partner and then end up splitting it 50-50. So me personally, I haven't done the only partner I have is a bank, and it's real clear cut. They give me 80% of the money, and then I gotta give them a certain return or interest every month until they get their money back. It's pretty simple, cut and dry. So with a partner, man, I would just say, get everything clear cut in the beginning on responsibilities and money, and scenarios where there could be scope creep or scenarios where there could be budget, creeps that go up. So have all that stuff spelled out as best you can with responsibilities and stuff.
Right. And sometimes it's best just to do it on your own. I mean, it's just best to do it if you can. If you have to partner up, just partner up enough until you can get on your own and just run by yourself. That's the best way.
So Michael asked a question. He said, in your course, do you have any templates for contractors bidding the project, details, material, labor? I do have templates for the actual project that you could give to a contractor or you could just use for yourself, and expect that a contractor, when he makes a bid, that he's going to answer those questions you have on what's required. So I have a lot of materials related to that. What I did for myself is I actually created that, which is exactly what you're talking about, and I just printed out, and my contractor could just fill it out because he wasn't real good at giving me paperwork. So I say, okay, you tell me how much something's going to cost, fill this form out. And then I could see all the details and how much every little thing costs. And that's pretty simple. Like there's a lot of stuff online, and I have some stuff in my course for that.
Right.
How did you manage it, Dr. Peters? Your
as far as the cost and stuff.
Yeah, the expenses for a contractor. Like, did you tell them, to give you some detailed proposal, or did you have something for them to fill out?
No, they basically will give you they'll write up a proposal, like they'll place their bid in, and what you do is you get 2 or 3 different contractors to give you bids, and then you just kind of go off whichever one you feel is the best, and it's not always the cheapest. So I mean, you gotta get out of that cheap stuff. Yeah, you gotta let that go. Yeah.
All right, what other questions does everybody have?
What we got going here?
We got Dr. Peters in here. If you missed the first part, he is actually somebody that has taken my course. So I thank him for that and the support. But he was actually making money investing in real estate long before he came across that. And when I met him, I kind of saw him as somebody that just was showing me support, that had a lot of knowledge already. But I'm confident that there's stuff in my course that he can glean, some insight and examples from. But he, that story you just told me, man, that's one that's gonna go down in the books for me, to tell other people about. When you were 18 years old,
yeah,
you bought a piece of real estate instead of buying a car,
right?
You bought a piece of land, and within 10 months, you flipped that land and made about 80 grand.
Yeah, when we get off the thing, I'll send you a snapshot.
Man, that's major.
Yeah, I actually have that framed and I hang it up in my house.
That's major, bro.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
So if anybody has any questions, we've been on for about an hour. I don't want to keep Dr. Peters too long. But we got a few questions coming in.
Let's see what we
got. Buster.
What's up, man? What's up, Buster?
What's good, Buster? I got a Lamborghini Gallardo here for you. So Buster said, what's a good dollar amount to start with for a flip? That's a question I get a lot.
I mean, to me, you have to do what your comfort level is. Like for me, I don't like to get anything that if it goes wrong, I can't just pay off. So everybody's comfort level is different, so you have to evaluate your own personal finances and see what you're going to be comfortable with, because these flips can go left. I mean, you could end up stuck with it,
So speaking of that, so based on what you just said, when I first got started in real estate and I first started buying up properties, I was buying at a price point where I wanted to know that I could flip it or rent it, no matter what, because I was a novice, I was a rookie. So I wanted to buy houses that could give me both options. So all of the houses I bought for the first 7 years of my investing were all projects that when I bought them, I made my money. So I could turn around and flip them after minor rehab and make some money. I wasn't going to take a loss based on the price points I was at. Now, as I got more experience with the rehabs and stuff, I started intentionally buying some flips that I would not normally want to make rentals. But pretty much all of them were like that. Now, my most recent project that Rich is privy to is building a brand new house to flip it, and I don't want to hold it as a rental, and it really wouldn't make a good rental candidate. So it's a little bit of risk for me. I can still make it cash flow, but the problem with making it cash flow is I have to tie up more of my cash to get that payment down and everything, so that I'm cash flowing and not tying up too much of my money. But anyway, I'm hoping to make some money on that. So hopefully we get this house done quick and the market is still warm here in Columbus.
After all this pandemic clears up, I might venture down to the district, man, and get me one of them home run projects. And if I can get me 1 or 2 of them, man, I'm at the call you up, brother. We're going to go out to South Beach and pick up one of them Lambos, man.
I'm gonna be ready too. Hey, bring me in on them projects you need. You know what I'm talking about?
Hey, I'm gonna need it all for the Lambo, man.
And they said gonna need.
What they say?
Hey, you sound like me.
Hey.
You sound like me, boy. All right, so let's see. They asked if you had a YouTube channel.
No, but everybody keeps telling me I need to get one. So we'll see.
Yeah, man, go for it.
You know, because what I like to do is I like to, you know, encourage people to go out and try stuff and things like that. You know, and I like to blog my flips and stuff to just kind of show people that anybody could do it. I mean, you know, it might seem like it's tough, but if you try, it's not that hard. I mean, you do get headaches, but who don't get a headache on their regular job? And it's time consuming. But I'm telling you that you can actually replace your 9-to-5 income on doing part-time work. You know, so to me, it's worth it, and I'm gonna continue to do it. You know, hopefully I can get one more in this year.
Tell you the thing I like about real estate. I was just thinking about like getting into the stock market, you know, and going big, because I don't, you know, if I go in there, I'm trying to make some real money. So that making some real money, usually got to put in some real money, right?
Yeah. Well, it depends. It all depends.
So, well, you know, I'm trying to make real money. So like whatever that was, you put little money. Imagine if I put some big money in. That's how I'm thinking, right? So it's gonna be big for what I'm looking at. So, but the thing is, man, with the stock market, because I dabbled in the stocks and the mutual funds and things. But the thing that makes me so comfortable about real estate investing is that you have some real estate, that you have so many options of what you can do with it if things take a turn for the worse. You can rent it out. Like worst case scenario that makes me comfortable, I can live in it if I have to. You know what I mean? If I get dirt poor, broke, I'm living in one of these properties.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be on the streets starting over from scratch. I'm gonna be in one of my houses. I'm not gonna be living with my parents. I'm not gonna be living with if tough times come, the worst scenario, I'm staying in one of these properties, right?
Right.
So that's one of the things I like about the real estate, and the thing is the control factor.
Yes.
Like if I put my money in the stock market, not to say that I'm not going to put it in there, because I am going to put some in there.
Right.
But the thing I like about the real estate that makes me feel comfortable is that I, Will Moss, you know, Will Motivation, whatever, I personally can go in there and try to make a product that somebody wants to buy. I could plan it out. I could do research. I can go put my hands on it. I could save money by doing some stuff myself or whatever, and get it done, and then make a product that I can try to get my money back out. You know, I have some control over it, and it makes me more comfortable, you know, putting in 6 figures or whatever you might have to put into a property. That's what I really like about real estate.
But the thing is, you know, if you have the stocks going on, and then you have the real estate going on, and then you have your job going on. Now you have multiple streams, you know, of income going on, because some of the stocks that you can get into, they pay dividends too. You know, so
yeah, you're gonna have to put me up on game on that.
Yeah, so you can have multiple streams of income going on. So, you know, when one's down, the other one's up. Or when you have a hiccup like coronavirus, you know, you're still.
Oh, you know what? Somebody asked a question about that. Like, what do you think what have you seen, and what do you think is going to happen with the real estate market because of this coronavirus thing?
Right now, I haven't seen a hit in it right now, because normally the real estate market is a little bit slower. It's a little bit slower with taking a hit versus like the market and stuff. But if these job numbers keep going the way they are, the real estate market is going to take a hit. Mm-hmm. I think right now what's keeping the numbers from going down is a lot of people are in forbearance right now, and I think that's kind of like giving like a false scenario of the real estate market still holding up, because back in 2008 and stuff like that, forbearance wasn't an option. So this time they're letting people go into forbearance, and that's kind of what's keeping the real estate market up. Mm-hmm. It is scary. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not, but it's not going to stop me from doing what I do. So if I see a deal, I'm going to jump on it. I'm going to keep trucking like coronavirus don't exist. So,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know.
So, hey, we got Dr. Peters on here. Y'all got any last questions for my man, Dr. Peters?
Somebody actually need good credit. I mean, if you're borrowing money, of course you're going to need to the credit. I was just in a situation. I was just fortunate enough where I didn't have to do that. But in the future, I am going to leverage. I'm going to use a lot of leverage on my future projects. I would say that much.
Especially if we have a ton of like foreclosures or something like that hit the market, you're going to be like, you're going to want to make your money stretch so you can get control of property. Like
Right.
if I knew then what I know now about leveraging the banks to acquire property, man, I would have tried to get every single property that was available through the HUD foreclosure list, because all of them was getting the same. All of them was like doubling. At a minimum, your money doubled at a minimum.
Right.
At a very top case scenario, your money might quadruple.
Yeah.
And the time from the time when you buy it and it quadruple, all of that time you're making a dividend off of it.
Right now, those same opportunities are going on in the market, and that's where I put a lot of my capital. So on my next flip or whatever, I will leverage, because I put a lot of money into the market, taking advantage of some of these discounts that's going on.
So we'll have to bring you back on here to talk about how to make them big bucks in the market.
And you got to think, you got to forecast. So, coronavirus is going on. We talking about a 12 to 18 month turnaround. So I have my life planned out on a vision board. So I could tell you from today over to the next 5 years what I'm gonna do. So I make my investments, based off that. So I live a very structured life. A lot of that comes from having a military background. Everything we did, we had a SOP, a standard operating procedure. So that's how I move through life. Everything is projected and forecasted.
My man, tell them about that. Know what I'm talking about?
You know what I'm talking about?
You gotta tell them, man. Hey, man, I want to say thank you for coming on to present some of your knowledge and your experience. The fact that you're a real person out here that has a real full-time gig, but you got you're building real wealth through some of your investments that you've made with some flips.
Passive income,
man. So he's doing it. You guys can do it too. So that's why we're on here. We're not asking anybody for anything. We're just on here just sharing knowledge.
Because one thing that I learned is I live by this to the day I die, and I'm gonna install this into my daughter as well, is that when I go to work and I get paid for going to work, that money from my job is for investing. When you want to go out here and buy the toys and the cars and the shoes or the trips, I don't feel like I should have to pay for that with my money I work for. I feel like if I want to go and do anything extra, why not create passive income to pay for all that stuff that has no value, and then you use your job to create wealth. And that's how you separate yourself from being in the 99% to get into the 1%. And the thing is, man, when you start to elevate yourself, you just want to start trying to pull people up and bring them up with you, because the thing is, it's not as hard as you think. But you have to take initiative and do it. I mean, you have to pull the trigger and do it. I mean, you have doers and you have critics, and the thing is, in the doer line, you don't have anybody, because everybody's going to sit around and say, "Oh, you're crazy. Don't do that." But a lot of times, the people that are telling you that stuff, what they don't have anything going on.
Right. What have they accomplished too?
What have they accomplished? You know what I mean? So you have to think outside the box. And when you start thinking outside the box, man, you will see that you will become successful very, very fast.
There it is. Yeah, I was gonna say too, man. Like, I do have an online real estate investment course, but a lot of people ask me how come I don't sell merch and stuff like that and t-shirts. I give most of my t-shirts and my merch away as a way to say thank you to people. But if I do have something to say, if you want to buy something from me, I want you to buy something that's actually going to help you.
Right.
So I do have my course for that, for those people that are serious. And part of the whole thing is, like, if you're not willing to invest a few $100 into learning how to do things the right way and learning from an example of some success, then how are you going to spend the kind of time and money it's going to take to have successful projects if you're not even willing to make that first investment and learn how to do stuff the right way?
Right.
So it's like it's sort of a getting you ready and to value something that you're getting ready to learn, you know?
Right.
So so I have that out there for people that are interested. The website is willmotivation.com/invest, which is I'm gonna type it on the screen.
You could definitely change your family's dynamic.
And then I had a question from Sky Investments. What's up, sir? He said he's thinking about getting a 6-unit in East Cleveland for $220,000. Hey, Rich, if you're still on, do you know anything about East Cleveland? Because I don't frequently, like, I go to Cleveland a lot, but I'm driving through. I'm not really hanging out, so I don't know what East Cleveland is like. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. You know what I'm saying? But Rich might be able to tell. Rich might be able to tell you if Rich is still in here. All right. Any last thoughts?
Any last questions?
Y'all got any last questions?
How many people got in here, Will?
We got 90. It was like 93 a second ago.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy. You brought them in here.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm willing to come back anytime. You know, I've definitely gotten a passion for it. And I was telling Will, you know, now I think I'm gonna start working on my building my rental portfolio. In the Baltimore area, they have a lot of duplexes you can get way under 200,000. So I think I'm gonna start looking into things like that as well, as far as flipping, because the rentals is the real long-term wealth builders.
Yeah, because you get that double, you know, you get that appreciation.
Appreciation, you get the depreciation, you get the write-off, the appreciation,
you get that tax write-off,
write-offs,
you get cash flow,
refi them every 7 to 10 years to buy a new property. I mean, it's just so much you can do with the rental. So yeah.
I like it because I don't feel guilty when I spend money on stuff that's not absolutely necessary.
That's my point.
Spending that cash flow
right,
as opposed to spending my principal.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't want to be throwing away your principal at stuff that's not needed. You want to spend that extra cash flow coming in and still spending less of it than what's coming in. So it's not like I'm spending all of it. I'm just spending a little bit here and there without feeling bad about it.
Hey, the power of OPM.
Other people money.
That's it. I'm telling you, man. Hey, once you learn that, you'll be good to go.
Hey, I appreciate you, brother.
Anytime, man.
And thanks to everybody that joined the live stream. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for your paying attention to what we're trying to do here on the channel and share knowledge. Like I said, I'm not asking anybody to buy no merch, but if you do want to make an investment in yourself and have me to be a part of that, you can invest in my online course. It's willmotivation.com/invest.
I just want to give a shout out to everybody who came in here tonight. Shout out to my boy Buster. Shout out to the city of Baltimore. That city has showed me so much love. You guys have a good night and check out the course.
Check out the course because it's now now we have our first official case study. Successful. Hey. He's legitimizing the real estate game, man. You really, like, for real, like, the fact that you're doing this part-time, you're holding down, a good job during a 9 to 5, and you're showing people that you can make real money out here. That's major. Because, like, when I was working a 9 to 5 that was not my own company, I was scared to kind of get into real estate, bro. I was scared of dealing with tenants. I didn't know how much money you could make. But if somebody had told me the kind of money that we're talking about, for flips, and I saw like real examples of it, then I would have been like, okay, I gotta start paying attention to this, and I gotta dip my toe in the water. So, and I love, like I said, I love that story you told, man. Like,
you can definitely flip your way from poverty to the 1%. I mean, really fast. I mean, you can. I mean, it's people out there flipping 20, 30 homes a year.
Yeah.
if you have the time to do it, I mean, because the hardest part is just finding the deals that make sense, because the numbers have to align.
Yeah.
So for myself now, I'll do 3 a year. I'll hopefully get one more this year, and then we'll see if in 2021 I pick it up. You know, because I could actually handle more, but I have a personal life too. Yeah. You know, but I definitely will be looking to hit a home run next year in DC and do a 7-figure flip. And I might just stay doing 7-figure flips. I don't know.
Let me get one of those. Let me get one of those.
Hey, man, I got to get me one first.
Let me get one of those. I'm gonna be watching.
You know, that's definitely gonna be a game changer. So, and it's definitely gonna happen soon. That's definitely gonna be in the future. So
that's what I want to do, man. Is I want an overseas project that I can utilize, but I can also Airbnb it for big bucks. And I'm looking at a project on a golf course, the best golf course in the whole country of Colombia. It's like a Jack Nicklaus approved golf course where I could buy a house, not an apartment,
right?
A house that I could probably rent out to, you know, people from all over the world that come there to play golf and enjoy the weather,
right?
And maybe rent it out as an Airbnb for like $300-400 a night.
I was gonna say I don't know if I could afford that. You might give me the family and friend discount, man.
I got you. We're gonna work on that. You cut me in your deal, I cut you in mine. Nah, man, I appreciate you, brother. So I appreciate everybody coming on to the live stream. Make sure if you are interested in learning more about investing in real estate, check out willmotivation.com/invest. We have Dr. Peters here, who's living testimony that you can do this as a part-time thing, and you can make so much money with it that you really could like do it full-time. So, and you know, and everybody knows my story. Like, I'm driving around in Lamborghinis because I made some real estate investments. And if I had not have made those real estate investments, I guarantee you I would not have bought the Lambos and stuff. So there it is. All right, y'all, take it easy.
So when can I come pick up mine?
I got one for you. Come on. Come on through. Got that checkbook. Know what I'm talking about?
Hey, that's it, man.